No Other Land is a 2024 documentary directed by Bassel Adra, Hamdan Balal, and Yuval Abraham. Created by a Palestinian-Israeli collective of 4 activists, the film is framed as an act of resistance in their ongoing pursuit of justice amid the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. The film won Best Documentary at the Oscars.
And the Oscar goes to No Other Land.
Thank you to the Academy for the award. It's such a big honor for the 4 of us and everybody supported us for this documentary. About 2 months ago, I became a father, and my hope to my daughter that she will not have to live the same life I'm living now, always fearing settlers' violence, home demolitions, and forest spill displacements that my community, Masafir Yatta, is living and facing every day under the Israeli occupation. No other land reflect the harsh reality that we have been enduring for decades as we call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
We made this film, Palestinians and Israelis, because together our voices are stronger. We see each other. The atrocious destruction of Gaza and its people, which must end. The Israeli hostages brutally taken in the crime of October 7th, which must be freed. When I look at Bassel, I see my brother, but we are unequal. We live in a regime where I am free under civilian law, and Bassel is under military laws that destroy his life and he cannot control. There is a different path, a political solution without ethnic supremacy, with national rights for both of our people. And I have to say, as I am here, the foreign policy in this country is helping to block this path. And can't you see that we are intertwined? That my people can be truly safe?
Now, I don't think it's surprising that this win led to backlash, with the Oscars being accused of anti-Semitism. Fuck you, anti-Semitic, anti-Israel Hollywood filth. That was a tweet from American writer John Podhoretz. Now, the funniest part of this is what he said just 45 minutes earlier. So far, this is the best Oscars I think I've ever seen, and I've been watching since 1971. So it's quite the change there. Now, others have also weighed in on the award. Tali Goldshaft, who's the marketing and commons for the Americans for Ben Gurion University, she tweeted, "Congratulations to the members of the Academy for opting to give these filmmakers an opportunity to proudly echo Hamas's terrorists' talking points upon the stage, to plenty of applause by the ignorant and shallow-minded Hollywood elite. Shame on you." Israel Bakar, who was the Consul General of Israel to the Pacific Southwest, he said this: "If Hollywood is eager to see the truth, I suggest they binge watch the countless hours of footage Palestinians themselves recorded, slaughtering entire families, kidnapping the elderly and infants, and committing every crime." Now, I don't actually remember seeing that. I do remember seeing Israelis film themselves committing war crimes, going into people's houses and stealing their stuff, wearing women's underwear after they've just evicted Palestinian women from their houses. In fact, the IDF have given so much evidence to the UN, the ICJ, for their own recording of the genocide. Now, this headline from Politico reporting on the Oscar win is also very interesting. Controversial Middle East documentary wins Academy Award. Controversial? I mean, why is that? Why exactly is it controversial? Sarah, the Oscars are now anti-Semitic. I just want to get your reaction to the documentary winning the award and your reaction to the backlash it's faced.
I mean, it's incredible that they're winning an award. I think, obviously, it's amazing. The Oscars, I don't think, is a site of liberation. I'm going to put that out there. I don't want to be like really pessimistic. They are a corporate managed like spectacle, but censoring Palestinian voices in this is so mandatory because we're going to force the conversation beyond just representation. We're going to interrogate the root causes of settler colonialism, apartheid, and imperialism. All very, very important conversations. But the responses, I can't say I'm surprised. This is exactly what they do. They always collapse Zionism into Judaism, and I think it's a consistent political move and not a cultural fact. Like the heart of every smear campaign that's happened, where people attempt to speak out against the genocide, is always conflated with being anti-Semitic, when there's an inherent difference between Zionism and Judaism. So I think you, we can't keep conflating these things, and we can't keep silencing Palestine and shielding empire. And I think that's what people are trying to do every single time people do the smear campaign. It isn't just about protecting Israel; it's about protecting a broader system of Western imperialism that Israel serves. So by framing pro-Palestinian advocacy as this inherently anti-Semitic move, I think A, silences Palestinian voices, and B, hinders the movement as well. So yeah, a chilling effect, I think, across progressive movements. So yeah.
I mean, it's the absurdity of the claims, which is, I think, what you notice there is that they won't address any of the actual points, right? When one of the directors was up there saying, look, as an Israeli, I enjoy certain rights that my friend doesn't have. He's under military occupation, I'm not. And you don't get anyone refute those points. It's almost like they have to be so over the top and absurd to kind of counter any sort of narrative. Like, so if they would try to counter the points that, you know, we make when it comes to the apartheid state of Israel, then I think people focus on that and the detail. When someone says something so crazy and outlandish, people then focus on that and you forget about the real discussion. It's almost like, I think they're so deliberate in that because they want you to think about the crazy stuff they're saying rather than the actual arguments put forward. I mean, is that something you agree with, or do you actually think all these people are just that deranged? Now, I don't get me wrong. I know some Zionists are incredibly deranged. But do you think they're all like that? Or do you think that there's some sort of method in really going extreme in their rhetoric?
That's a really good question, and it probably is a bit of both. I think some of them are methodical, but some of them probably aren't smart enough to be that methodical. I think it very much is a case where I don't know. In the face of actual anti-Semitism, I'm like, this isn't that. Like, how are we getting confused here? And if anything, I think what they're doing, whether intentionally or unintentionally, is that they are criminalizing solidarity. So they are criminalizing and delegitimizing any effective solidarity with Palestinians every single time they try to shift or manipulate the narrative to be under this anti-Semitic umbrella. And I'm absolutely against anti-Semitism, obviously, but this is us calling out Zionism. And every single time you tell us, oh, please stop doing that, you're being anti-Semitic, you're saying we can mourn Palestinians quietly, but we cannot name the system that's killing them, and you certainly can't organise against it. That's what they do, whether that's in a methodical manner or in an unintentional one. So yeah. So I think there's been a lot of bad faith accusations.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the modus operandi of them, though. That's their whole vehicle. It's to be bad faith, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there's a sort of a quiet justice here. It's not much, but in the context of the BBC pulling their documentary due to pressure, but this documentary won an Oscar. So I think in that way, it's a nice little fuck you to the BBC. And it's quiet justice. It's not anything big, but
it is quiet justice. But you know, I'm very critical of the Oscars anyway. So I do think there is a performative aspect to these wins. Yeah. And this is maybe just me being devil's advocate, but is this maybe possibly, and I think it's great to have Palestinian voice in the forefront, and I'm very happy this win has happened, but is this an attempt by liberal cultural elite to cleanse themselves of complicity? Like, hey, look, we have given Palestinians something, be grateful. Like, and that's, I think it's fair for me to be paranoid, because every single time something's happened, something else comes as a result. And they're like, no, like we're going back on our promise, or look at what we've done for the Palestinians, show our solidarity. But actually, you've spent decades demonizing Palestinian resistance, the erasure of their history, and upheld Israeli propaganda. So I think it's a great win, a small one, but a great one nonetheless.
Support independent media, support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.